Hello, everybody. Finally back. I've honestly been kind of not avoiding making this, but just wanted to make sure that I could convey what I want to convey properly with this, because it can be a little touchy of a subject, I think, because it can be pretty personal, and everyone has different opinions on it. But basically, what I want to talk about is something, I guess, that kind of concerns me with art making in general. I guess more specifically to me, visual arts, because that's what I do. That's what I'm most familiar with. Those are the kind of visual art spaces, like the space that I occupy the most. But I may here and there refer to other spaces or practices, but for now it's mostly visual arts. But I've been noticing this trend where it seems like, I don't know if it's because it's just so much easier to hear or see people's opinions, whether directly or indirectly, or hearing it from someone else. But just, if I wouldn't say it's a fact, but it's a trend that I am kind of noticing, where it seems like a lot of, or not a lot, but seems to be more prevalent, where younger or newer artists are kind of, I'd say, a little too concerned with quick improvement or the promise of success as a artist or a visual artist, compared to when I started. It seemed more like people just did it because, it was like it started out as a fun hobby, and then, they just wanted to take it more seriously because they found that they really liked it, or that they wanted to improve so that they could maybe do a certain thing with their art, or express certain things that they want to express better. And then, at least from what I could tell, success, or like the promise of success or quick improvement, especially in the beginning or beginner stages, was like the last thing on people's minds. Where now it seems like, or more recently, it seems like that concern is more at the forefront of people's minds. It's concerning for me. It just doesn't feel like the right mindset to go into trying to be an artist. And I don't want to make it sound that this is why I really wanted to take some time to really think about it and try to see it from as many sides as I could. But for me, whenever I hear somebody talk about their art and wanting to get better in X amount of time, usually pretty quickly, or if they're asking, oh, how do I become successful? How do I get popular? Whatever. To me, that just feels like the wrong kind of motivation. It may work to get you to that level of success or to get you to be as good as you want quickly, but I don't think that it's very sustainable in the long run. Partially because I kind of went through it as well for a time. But luckily now my mindset has changed and I have found that I just like making art and that getting better or finding success is just, a byproduct of me trying to do what I do the best that I can. Of course, there's some level of calculations or planning that I do to facilitate any sort of success I gain. But at the core of it, I think for me, it's still about my love for my craft. And honestly, what got me thinking a lot more about it was PewDiePie. If you didn't know, he started trying to learn how to draw last year now. And I think it was the first 100 or 30 or 100 days, I think. He posted a video about his journey for that time and what he learned, his progress, what he did, what he drew. And overall, I think it was very positive. Obviously, there's some people who probably didn't like it too much or had negative opinions about it, but I think overall that first video was pretty well received. But then a few months ago, I don't remember, time's moving very quickly these days, but whenever he posted his 1 year review, because he decided to do the same thing but after a year, people for some reason did not take it so well. I think more so than before, for whatever reason. I think some of the most common comments that I could notice was that, oh, he could only get this good because he had money or he had a lot of time to get better this quickly, which is sure may be true, but a lot of the resources he said he used were not that different from what most people could get or have access to. And even if they're not the same, there's a whole lot of resources out there that you can just look at and learn from. So I don't really understand oh, he's rich, he's got money to get all these tools and whatever. I don't really believe that. I feel like that's just a bit of a scapegoat excuse. As for the time thing, sure, he may have more time than most people, but if you can't spend as much time as him, or if you can't spend as much time as him in 1 year, if you spread that out over multiple years so that the time you spend every day or every few days drawing will add up to be the same, and then you may experience the same kind of improvement just over a longer period of time. So just the fact that people kind of are like, oh, I can't do it because of X and Y, just feels so defeatist to me. And again, I don't want it to sound like I have never felt like, oh, I'll never get better because X person is better. But eventually, I would go back to it anyways. I think because whether or not I knew it at the time, I just had this innate love for drawing or painting or whatever other thing I was doing at the time. And the fact that it seems like a lot of people just give up so quickly before they even get to the point where they either consciously or subconsciously realize that they like drawing or creating is just really worrying to me. Because it's brought me so much good in my life, which I never would have expected when I started. I started drawing when I was a kid. Just because I thought it was fun. I was just drawing random characters. I was drawing stick figures. One of the first things that I drew was this really, honestly, strange, like very cringe comic in this very cheap manila paper sketchbook that was just staple bound. It wasn't even like hardcover or anything. It was just like the cheapest like dollar store notebook sketchbook thing. And I would just divide the pages up into like a 6-panel grid, and I would just draw this comic of this like stick figure guy with this really weeaboo fucking anime katana with like lightning powers, and he would just like go through this army base with these like futuristic armor dudes and just mess them up. And I'm like, that's what I did because I thought it was fun and I thought it was cool. I cringe thinking about it now, but like if I didn't do that, then I wouldn't be here. But I wasn't thinking about, oh, how am I gonna be popular from doing this? Oh, how am I gonna get better? How am I gonna be like super good in a year? That's not what I was thinking about. I was just thinking about making this stupid comic because it was fun. And I don't blame these newer artists at all. I think it's just an unfortunate product of how the world is right now, especially with social media. It's so easy to see so many artists and then see how much they improve in X amount of time. A lot of people are making videos about it, like PewDiePie's video, or like people are doing that 100 days challenge, and you're seeing how much they improve and all of that. And then, it's in the face of that, how are you supposed to feel when you're just starting, right? But I feel like the people that they see doing those things and improving and becoming successful or popular, they're achieving those things because they know that they love their craft. Because it takes a certain amount of dedication to see those things through, right? And the ones who really do the best over a long period of time, the dedication comes from a love of the craft. Because I've seen, personally, some artists who were really good already, but for some reason just kind of stopped. Probably burnout, but where does burnout come from? Usually not feeling satisfied with their work for whatever reason, could be they're not improving as fast as they want to, or as some of their other peers, and they can see that because the world is very online now. It's very easy to see what everyone's up to. Could be that what the price they paid to get that good was too high because they just grinded it out too quickly rather than letting it happen over a course of years, or they're not seeing the kind of success that they want with how much effort they put in. Could be a number of things. For most of the artists that I saw this happen to, I can only speculate, but some of them, they had expressed prior to them stopping or taking a really long hiatus or whatever happened, they would talk about, oh, I'm not as good as it should be, or I've been doing this for so long, I'm not seeing the success I want. It's really taking a toll, etc., etc. And, I can understand the frustration there. I can empathize. And I wish that didn't happen. But coming from my perspective, I think even if, especially with how I am now, even if I can't do this for a living, I think I would still do it no matter what. I think the fact that I would do it no matter what makes it more likely that I would end up finding success, because I'm more willing to find ways to make it work, because I can't stop. I don't want to make it sound like if you just keep going forever, eventually it'll work out. But I think if you do that while also trying to be smart about trying to make it work, it's more likely that it will. Because, like they say, you miss all the shots you don't take. As long as I keep taking shots, because I can't seem to find myself stopping doing this, well, eventually enough of them have to hit where I can do this for a living. At least that's my hope. But, like I said earlier, it just seems like a lot of, or more and more beginners are kind of falling into this trap where it's, oh, if I can't do it in this amount of time, I'll stop. I've had people ask me, oh, how long does it take to get as good as you? And I never want to answer because I can't answer that. You're not me. I'm not you. Your life's different from mine. There's so many variables that go into this that I can't give you an estimate. Even if I did, what is the reason for asking a question like that? Are you just going to stop if it doesn't happen within that time? Is there a reason where you need to achieve that within whatever time frame you got? Being an artist is definitely more of a marathon than a sprint. It takes so much time, so many failures, so many instances of you trying to do things different ways that you can't effectively estimate that you'll be as good as somebody else in the same time that they got to be good. Usually when people ask me that question, I just tell them straight up, I'm like, I don't think I can answer that for you. There have been people who can do it in 2 years, but I don't know if you can do that. There's a lot of resources where you can try, and I encourage you to try, but I think first you gotta figure out if you even like doing this. So if you don't like doing it, what's the point of trying so hard? Is it just to say you can draw? Just so you can flex your skills? Show how famous of an artist you are? You can do that, but I honestly don't think you'll feel fulfilled or happy at the end. And knowing how much fulfillment and happiness and just so many good things that I experience and have gained from becoming an artist. I want other people to experience that too. More than being popular, being good. Because those things are fleeting, right? There's always new artists. They're always going to be younger. They're always going to be better. At a younger age than you. There's people that I know that are so much better than me who are younger. They're more successful than me, and they're younger. They started later. Like that's one of the good things too. There's just, with how things are now, if you have the love for it and you've got the drive, you can be so good, so much easier. You've got YouTube tutorials. You got people posting tutorials on like Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram. There's so many more books being made. There's like online courses you can take by your favorite artists. All those Colosso and like Class 101 and all that stuff. For like not even that much money either. I guess it wasn't the only option, but one of the most common option at the time when I went to school was school. That was the most common, most logical option. But now you can just learn at home. And you don't even have to spend thousands of dollars to learn so many different things. At the end of the day, though, you're free to go into making art for whatever reason you want. I can't tell you not to, but I would encourage, if anyone's in that position where they're like, oh, I want to start drawing, but it's going to take too long. Or, oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to be good. Just try it. For a lot of us, I think just making stuff is part of the fun. I know for me, making stuff is like most of the fun. Just having a cool thing at the end is like a bonus. But most of the fun for me is making the thing. So, and I wouldn't have known that if I just didn't start without any promise of getting good or being successful. So I would really encourage people to find what they enjoy about making art or drawing, music, crafts, anything like that. Just see what you like. Because once you find the passion, it rarely leaves forever. It may wane from time to time, but it happens to all of us. But the ones who really, really love it, it always comes back. I know it did for me, even when I thought I was done. It just came back. I couldn't stay away from it. And I'm like more motivated than ever to make it work and to get better. And I feel like ever since I've realized that, I've been doing so much better than before. Been much happier, been more motivated to make different things. Even if I'm unsure I'll be good. But, just finding out that, or just finding out how much I truly, truly, truly love making things has pushed me so far. And if my only concern was being good or being successful, I don't think I would be anywhere near where I am, or anywhere near as happy as I am now. So, just try. Just try. If you don't end up liking it, you don't have to. But, as I get older, the more I realize that finding your passion is one of the hardest things you can do in life. There's a lot of people who haven't found one. And, if the only thing stopping you is being afraid of never getting good or never finding success, it can be a big hurdle, but I would encourage you to try to push through it anyways. Just give making things a sincere effort. Because if you do and you end up liking it, like I said, I don't think it'll leave you. And I think it'll push you to do a lot of really cool things and things you'll be proud of. So just give it a go. Just try your best. See where it takes you. Future me here. Just wanted to add a little bit to the end here because honestly I don't want to re-record the whole thing, but I checked on the PewDiePie video recently and it seems like a lot of the discourse around it has turned positive, which I'm really happy to see. So it seems like the general consensus has switched, which is really nice. And sorry if it seemed like I got really influenced by that. I realize after the fact, while I'm re-listening to this, or what I said, it might have been making a lot of assumptions, but I still do think that there are a more significant amount of people who are getting into being a creative or like just making stuff that are trying to focus on the success and the fame and bragging rights, I guess, of being or making stuff or like being an artist and whatever. And that's still something that I feel shouldn't be a thing. But I do think I was maybe a little too heavy-handed in what I was saying. So if I was, sorry. But yeah. Hopefully the trend keeps this way and people think a little more positively, or just like be more willing to give things a shot and not just stop before they even start. That's really my main issue here, is just people not giving themselves a chance, or just quitting too quickly. But you know, life's hard, things happen, things aren't easy to do. Totally get it. But as I said at the end of the official section, just try your best. You never know what'll happen. Okay. Take care, everybody. I will see you whenever I make a new one. Bye-bye.